Hello, Neil and Buzz. I'm talking to you by telephone from the Oval Room at the White House.
It is a great pleasure for us as ICOM MPR to talk to an astronaut. You have undertaken a really exceptional journey. You have been pilot of a space shuttle. That means, in words of a museum man, you have been visited the orbit.
Well, first of all, thanks for having me here today.
This is an experience that really only a few people will have during their lifetime. What was your personal motivation to apply for this exceptional job?
The question for my personal motivation, I am very often asked, and I honestly must admit, I don't know. I only knew that I wanted to do this, but I don't know why, and I don't know what was the driving force behind it. There are many why questions in this world, and museums are there to answer some of those, and they are very important, but there are other why questions which, where it is, in my humble opinion, completely unimportant what the answer is. Why do I becoming an astronaut in the end? I mean, it's not only that you want to become one and you then become one, a little bit more luck is required on its way, but why I had the desire to follow this path, I don't know. I can't tell you.
What experience do you have made during this process? Was it rather a technological, scientific one, or was it a social one, or a more emotional experience for you?
Looking back at my time working for space, and the 11 days in space, of course, were a not insignificant part of that. All of this comes together. There is, of course, what I call the technological, scientific, operational challenge on one side, and it is sometimes difficult to distinguish between the three of them. So I put them all into one pot. But then there is obviously an emotional side to it, and we all hope that there is a social side to it as well. The European astronauts developed a charter to really put down the values that we share. And one key sentence in there was shape and share. Shaping space, meaning by going into space, by doing things that hopefully it is meaningful to the society, personally satisfying for the individual, also, of course, but meaningful for the society. But then the aspect of sharing is of key importance, and that is amongst the results for society an important social part in my profession.
In museum side, sharing is caring is now very popular, let's say, to share the content, to share the context, to share information. I think this is very crucial, and it's a wonderful bridge between, let's say, the orbit and the museum. And did these experience you expressed to us perhaps have shaped the rest of your life since then?
This is a very difficult question in the sense that there is not such a thing like an easy and unique answer. On first sight, I must say, this time has had no significant impact on the way I view the world. I'm a Christian, and I admit this freely and openly. It did not shape my relationship to my beliefs and the way I treat people. However, I cannot deny that it must have influenced me here and there somehow in a more subtle way, which I do not immediately realize. That goes without saying, but it was not one of these profound moments where you say, this changed my life forever. That would be overdoing it. On the other side, in German, we say Reisen bildet, or if you travel, you learn new things. It means you go out of your comfort zone. You never come back as the very same person, because otherwise you would not have really learned something new. And as T.S. Eliot said it, therefore we must never cease of exploration, and exploring is about learning. And the end of all our exploration will be that we come back to the place where we started from and see it for the first time. For the first time, of course, in the sense that you see it now with a completely different background, with a different view. You say, well, for the first time, I see it how it really is. If I think about what happened on that flight, from that perspective, it was extremely gratifying to see how literally several hundred of people come together, work towards the same goal, and make that happen. What seems to be at the very beginning as barely possible, but it works all of a sudden. So that is from that side very gratifying. But from a more personal, emotional perspective, there are so many moments. I don't want to highlight one as the moment. However, one that comes back again and again is the following situation. We were flying over the Atlantic Ocean. It was night, and we came across Europe at Ireland, and then flew over France. And Europe was covered under a thick cloud layer, but the cloud layer got thinner and thinner and thinner the more south we came. And so in the southern part of France, you could not really see the cities, but you could guess where they were, because there was a pearl of light shimmering through the clouds. It was just a beautiful sight. And the next moment we crossed the Alps, and Italy lies in front of us, the entire boot highlighted with the cities and villages. It was just a marvelous view. And the time it takes for me to narrate all that, we have already left Italy across the Mediterranean. The ocean is pitch black. The earth seems to disappear because it's not there anymore, at night at least. And you see this white band coming across the horizon. And Janet, who was next to me, and we were looking at this and asking, what is this? We haven't seen that before. And it was the Nile River. So of course, the river itself is not illuminated by night, but the people living at the shore of the river showed us where the river is flowing. And at that moment, when I realized that, I asked myself the question, why are you up here? And the first answer is, well, you are a great guy. You have all the stuff it takes. Well, of course, this is wrong. That is not sufficient. So the next thing was it due to all the Tsiolkovskis, to the engineers, to the Goddards, Van Brauns, who thought about that this would be possible and made it in the end happen. And I also realized that was not the reason why I was up here. It was a necessary step, but it was not the reason why I was up there. I think the reason why I was up there, and Friedrich Dürrenmatt, a Swiss author, phrased it, I mean, second to none in his novel, The Physicists, die Physiker, was einmal gedacht worden ist, kann nicht zurückgenommen werden. What once was thought can never be taken back. And I thought at that moment, someone must have been the person, a woman, a child, I don't know who all the needs were satisfied. There was water, there was food, there was shelter, clothing. And they looked at the starry sky many, many thousand years ago and thought, how would it be if I would be amongst them? And I thought that may have been someone from Egypt or Mesopotamia or one of this area. So I was there because there was a human being who had the first idea of going to space, or at least try to imagine what it would like to be amongst the stars. I wish I could talk to that person, but that might not be easily possible.
Maybe not in this world, but maybe in another one. Thank you very much to share your experience, your ideas, your emotional approach to this wonderful journey with us. Thank you very much, Gerhard, for your talk.
You're very welcome.